Hi. I am in the middle of a flashback and it really sucks. I am I had a mental breakdown at work yesterday. Um let's see. Yeah, so I think my body thought that somebody was going to come in and beat me. This is how I was treated as a kid. Like I would get beaten somewhat randomly and it was pretty much daily. So, anyways, I'm at work and I'm trying to journal everything out, write it down so that I can bring it to my therapist the day after. Um, just write down what's going on in my mind and whatnot. Um, but then my muscles just kept tensing, and yeah, my muscles kept tensing, and at a certain point, they all locked up, and I was unable to move. I knew in my mind, okay, I'm having a flashback, and this is basically my body preparing to get beaten. Um, so I'm there, and I tried to do some breathing exercises, and um, yeah, I tried to do some breathing exercises, and every time I like would calm down a little bit, my body would start screaming. I would start screaming, and this was in the office, and eventually I just had a mental. I had that was the mental breakdown. I just couldn't function. So my coworkers, luckily, they brought my boss, and my boss called somebody who would help me go to the psychological services. So my boss brought me there. Luckily, my coworkers and my boss are fantastic, and I work at Mass General, and I'm really grateful for everybody there who was able to support me in that. Um, so yeah, I was brought there, and I was just panicking. I was scared, and I was just in the psychological office, and somebody was trying to help me there, and she was quite helpful. She told me stuff that I already knew, but I realized that for me, it's like the thing that helps me most when I'm feeling flashed back is having another person there, because in my mind, I fear that somebody's gonna run through, like break into the door and start hitting me, which is what happened as a kid at times. And that's why my muscles tense. So having that other person there was very helpful. I kind of got myself together a bit, and luckily I was able to go back, and my therapist had an appointment with me. Thank God for my therapist, like just fantastic. Her name is Eileen Stein, just one of the most helpful people I've ever met. Um, so I had that appointment. I wrote down some coping tools. I did not do EMDR yesterday, and then I went back to the office at my men's team meeting, and I talked to some people who they felt like at least one man has felt similarly of when he's in the midst of it, like preparing to be abused in a way and feeling like he can't trust anybody. And you know i I also, that's something that I struggle with. When I'm in this feeling, I really feel like I can't trust anybody, that nobody's going to help me. And I think that's similar to when I was a kid, how I didn't trust anybody to be there for me, because if somebody were there, then the abuse would never have happened. And yeah. So then the second part of this whole story kind of comes when I've re-regulated and I go home and I realize I'm getting all these resentful thoughts, um, and they're directed at my loved ones. And it's like, oh, why weren't you there for me? Like I had a mental breakdown, and people were there for me. Like I was getting sent like some nice texts, and people were reaching out. So I guess the second part of this whole drama that happens with my nervous system when I'm in a flashback is why weren't people there for me? I can't trust any of you. What the hell? You know, because it's that thought of, if if people were there for me, the abuse never would have happened, and people don't really care, and I can't trust anybody. So last night I was scared to go to sleep because I was still feeling anxious, but I wrote down my coping tools on my whiteboard. I'm looking at it right now. And then I wrote this down because I had all that resentment. And that resentment is a kind of way to get back, but it's like, I am doing this for me. I choose to be a man who stays in relational integrity. So relational integrity means to me that I take ownership of my triggers and I don't dump them on other people, and I don't demand other people support me. I just accept it if they do show me support. And I did get it actually. So yeah, it's hard, you know. One of the big things for me when I'm triggered is I honestly want to hurt myself really badly. And I've never hurt myself, luckily, because I always call somebody before it actually happens. So I've never actually self-harmed, which is good. Um, there was one time 2 years ago when I first had my like real like bottom out, but after that it's never happened. But it's like I want to hurt myself, or hell, suicidal ideations coming. Like I just want to end my life so that they finally understand how badly they treated me, because they never listened beforehand. I knew something was wrong when I was a kid, and I tried saying it, but even that was judged negatively. It's like, oh, what the hell's wrong with you? Why are you saying this? Like, you're just being a drama queen or something. So, yeah, I don't want to do that to my loved ones right now, because I have a lot of fantastic people in my life. So the main thing that I struggle with, it's like I feel alone in this. A lot of the reason I struggle to trust people is because it's like yesterday in my meeting, somebody was trying to tell me, yeah, you just got to change the way you think about this. And I'm just like, fuck you. I've heard that before. I've been changing the way I think about this since day one, you know? And I realize, he has very good intent. And I think that's the thing. A lot of us who were severely abused just don't trust people because they're not going to get it. They don't get it. And I think the one person who did get it, I felt a lot better, actually. And I think that's why it's so important to find people who've been, who've like find a support group like Adult Children of Alcoholics or 12-step groups or some sort of support group, because there aren't that many people who get it. They'll say things that are, with all due respect to that person yesterday, it was not helpful. Or they'll start saying platitudes. It's like, no, you don't understand. I'm locked in the memory of my parents beating me right now. That's what my nervous system wants. I don't think you can do anything about it, because it's more of, I need to change my biology. But what I need is people who are there, who love me, who care, and will be there with me, Once I know somebody's there, and like who will listen if I share what's going on, who just want to know what's going on, want to know what my experience is like. That's all I care about, because nobody cared when I was younger. So luckily I'm getting better at saying that. I'm getting better at saying, yeah, this isn't helpful and this is what I need. But I guess I'm making this video because, I'm in the midst of the flashback right now, and my mind keeps on looping to, what's the point of taking care of myself? Like, this is all pointless. My life is ruined anyways. It keeps going to that. It's like a black hole. And I luckily have my life purpose that keeps me grounded, that I want to make sure other people don't suffer from diseases. One being diseases of the body, and the second is disease of the mind, which is this complex PTSD. So my men's team is really important to me because it helps me pass on a lot of the lessons that I learn, and I guess help other people with trauma in whatever capacity I can. So that's like, whenever that what's the point comes in, that's why. But my body's still adrenalized. I'm still scared, and I still feel pretty bad. But I know there are other people going through similar shit. And all I want to say is, like, if you've been physically or like sexually abused or horribly emotionally abused, at least for the physical and emotional abuse, like, I've been there. It's horrible, and it's okay to struggle. I've been at this therapy. I've been doing EMDR for 2 years now, every week, maybe sometimes more than once a week. And my life is infinitely better. There's lots of hope, but it's still okay to struggle. It takes a long time. That's one thing I'm just coming to terms with, and that's okay. You just gotta take the small wins as they come. Like, for me, the big win I have from this is that, I was feeling resentful and I didn't lash out at my partner, or I didn't ask her for more support than she could give me. I don't really lash out, but I didn't ask her for more support than she could give me because I want to be a man who stays in relational integrity. Another positive is that I was able to cope for the night without having to do EMDR. I got a new coping tool of stretching and like trying to just release the muscular tension, because that's the big thing for me. My body's preparing to get hit, so it tenses up. So I stretch to release that tension. These are small wins, and that's what keeps me going. That and the fact that I have my mission. And in this moment, it's really hard to think of a future where this is not like torturing me, basically. It's really hard. I struggle with my family, with, I'm not sure what my relationship will be like with them in the future. While my dad has changed and theoretically my mom has changed, I feel like the damage done is just so deep that I can't do it. And I realize I'm still trauma bonded to them, so I'm taking my time away. And I keep thinking about that. And the moment I think about that, I get really, frankly, that's when a lot of the suicidal ideations come in of like, oh, what's the point? I'm like failing them as a son. I need to just end it. I know that's extreme, and I don't think I could actually go through with that. So with complex PTSD, the suicidal ideations are more of a passive, like, oh, if something just ended it, it'd be so much easier. Or like, you don't want to necessarily end your life, but you don't particularly want to live. That's the feeling. So I try not to think about that. I say I don't have to make a decision on that right now. What matters right now is that I take care of me. Because I know, and then I list things that I like about myself. I like that, I'm a kind person. I generally like want to do good in the world. Yeah, I'm always trying to grow. I'm funny. Some people would disagree. I don't know. I'm musical. I have artistic talents, I guess. Yeah, I can keep going. I have these positive things. And honestly, like the fact that I can make videos like this, I think that's also a positive in its own way, because I know it helps people feel less alone. Hopefully, if you're watching this. Yeah, it's gonna be a daily fight sometimes. Well, it's not a daily fight for me, but it is a struggle at times, and I'm struggling right now. I struggled yesterday. I broke down at work. I was crying and I screamed at work, which is not good. I definitely feel kind of. I feel some level of like, gosh, I wish that didn't happen. I don't feel shame. I wouldn't shame myself about that, because that's not my fault. That's what happened to me, and trying my best to cope. But anyways, I'm just rambling. Look, if you're in a flashback, I just want to let you know that you're not alone, and you matter a lot. It's really unfortunate what happened to you. This is what I tell myself. It's really unfortunate what happened to me, but it's not my fault. I'm not broken. If I can take the next baby step forward, I'm not broken. And you can too. You can too. You can take the next baby step forward. You're not broken. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm just a guy dealing with his own complex PTSD as well. But I know for me, the feeling of aloneness sucks, and I want to help other people feel less alone. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I wish you the best of luck, and I wish you good recovery.